Look!
I'll kill you all! I'll drive you crazy and I'll kill you all! I'm every nightmare you ever had. I am your worst dream come true. I'm everything you ever were afraid of.
They all float. That's right. What is up, boneheads? This is the Skeleton Crew. This is the second half of our Stephen King retrospective. We already covered Pet Sematary, Secret Window, and now it's time for the grand finale, Stephen King's It. This is going to be a big one. That's why we saved it for the very end of the Stephen King retrospective. And I am joined, as always, by Dan Chase, and my name is Alex, and we are joined by special guest host, Ryan Murphy. Ryan, thank you for coming on the show, and let's get right into it. It's going to be a detailed show and definitely fun, so let's get going. Beep, beep, Alex.
I want to kill it.
I just want to forget about it.
It's not just us. It's all the other kids, too. Who's gonna be next?
It kills kids, damn it!
You killed my brother George, you bastard! Let's see you now.
Maybe it's the water.
The water. Maybe it's the sewer.
Hi, Georgie.
You're not real! You're not real!
Was it Pennywise?
Big white guy, red nose, about 75 feet tall, mouth full of razor-sharp teeth.
You smell that? That's death. Losers fight it. Losers die.
They all float!
Alright guys, it is time for my favorite Stephen King adaptation. This is It from 1990. This started off, it was a little TV miniseries. It was 2 episodes. It aired in November 1990. Part 1 was like November 18th. Part 2 was November 20th. And the plot, the storyline here is, in 1960, a group of social outcasts who are bullied by a gang of greasers led by Henry Bowers, are also tormented by an evil demon who can shapeshift into a clown and feed on children's fears and kill them. After defeating the demonic clown as kids, it resurfaces 30 years later and they must finish it off as adults once again. And this movie is directed by a very cool guy named Tommy Lee Wallace. He was the director of Halloween 3, and he worked on Halloween. And I think he worked a little bit on Halloween 2 also, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And, so this movie is starring Jonathan Brandis as a young Bill. Brandon Kane as a young Ben. Adam as a young Eddie. Tim Curry as Pennywise the Clown. You know him from Home Alone 2 and Rocky Horror Picture Show and some other stuff. Emily Perkins is a young Beverly Marsh.
Ginger Snaps.
Yeah, she was in Ginger Snaps. That's right, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to say this real quick, too, for people listening. Okay, so we're doing the It show, and we wanted to find somebody else that was a bigger It fan than Alex, and that was tough, but we sought some people out, and we've been wanting to have him on for a while, too. So just real quick, everybody welcome Ryan Murphy to the show. What's up, Ryan?
Hey.
What is up, Ryan? No, Ryan, you've been listening to the show for a while, and thanks, man. And I had to put a few feelers out because I'm real passionate about it. I really like it. People are always on the fence, and we all know which side of the fence they like more than the other side. It's always obvious, but I think you're like me. You like the whole movie as a whole, right? Pretty much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, thanks for hopping on and reviewing this movie with us. And
No problem, man.
Yeah.
so it starts off in the town of Derry. Just like Friday the 13th Part 2, you hear a little kid singing Itsy Bitsy Spider.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's foreshadowing, because the end of the movie, it comes back.
I never thought of it like that.
Me
Until
either,
now.
dude.
Yeah, right?
Never thought about that.
Me and Ryan are so blown away by it. Like, wow,
I'm like,
foreshadowing.
this is like revolutionary. Like, I would have never thought about that.
This review was already badass.
Doesn't take much, does it?
Yeah.
He just changed my life.
You just shook that shit up real quick, son.
He seriously did.
And then Tommy Lee Wallace steals a page from John Carpenter and has Pennywise the Clown hiding behind some laundry, hanging on a line.
Oh,
That
that's
is like-
right. Oh, shit.
That's like the creepiest. That's one of the creepiest, I feel like, shots in like movie history.
Yes.
Of like the sheet just blowing and him standing behind it, looking at his victim. It just looks like freaky.
Oh.
You know what's weird? First he's happy, and then as it blows around, they show him again, he looks angry, and I don't know which one is scarier.
I
Yeah,
know,
is it-
right? I mean, it's just like a spider luring its like a fly to its nest. It's like
Oh,
smiling.
snap.
Wow, I never...
It's smiling, yeah. It's smiling to lure her in, and then whenever he's got her, man, he's got her, and he's all on
Well,
pin.
that's-
On getting
Right. And that's why Tim Curry plays this role so beautifully, and it's all about, kids love clowns. That's another thing. Did you guys ever love clowns as kids? I was always fucking scared of them.
I think, I watched this movie first when I was 5. I've always kind of viewed clowns as kind of like it, maybe. So I've never really had.
Oh.
I've always kind of been indifferent about them.
Right?
You know what I mean?
I never even thought about clowns, to be honest with you. I mean, they for the most part in my childhood, they were always pretty creepy because even in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, that I grew up with that, and when those clowns were fixing his bike and stuff, and they were all like dancing around, they were all creepy looking. And
So creepy, dude.
yeah, I don't know. I never thought about clowns. Like, I was never a kid who went to the circus much, I'll be honest with you. So after this little girl gets killed, an older version of Mike Hanlon finds a picture of Georgie, and we don't even know who that is. It looks creepy either way, but we don't know who that is at this point, and it's like, okay, and it must mean something. He says it's back, so now it kind of builds tension, like, what's back? And, well, obviously it's the clown, but now it's back, and it's been a problem. So you immediately cut to Bill, who is his older form at this time, and he's married to the person that played Norman Bates' mom.
Hey, she's hot, and he's a fucking idiot too. Oh, I got a hot wife in the other room. Let me go right, you fucking Melvin.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Fuck.
And dude, what's with that hair? Holy shit,
Oh
man.
my god.
Oh my god. Okay, I was gonna comment about that, but I was like, I hope no one listening has a ponytail because I don't want to offend anyone. But that ponytail is just intense.
But dude, it's not the fact that he has a ponytail. That might be cool, but he has short hair in the front.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, but I'm saying, if you look at his ponytail, it's in a way to where, if you look in the front, you have no idea he's a ponytail.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
Like, but if you look at it from the back, you're like, he has a ponytail. Like, not just a one. He's got a ponytail.
Dude, you're rocking a ponytail. You know what I look at that as? I look at that as a last-ditch effort to hold on to the 80s.
Oh yeah, that was 1990. This guy was very confused.
So, hey, I mean, maybe it was part of the 80s. I mean, look at
Right.
2010. It's kind of like 2008, you know?
yeah, right.
Kind of, but not really, but in a lot of ways it is.
I know.
The way they do it, they break it into stories about each kid leading up to the whole introduction of all the kids. So the first kid that we get introduced to is Bill, and we made fun of his hair. Yeah, and he has a flashback of him as a kid and what happened to him. And his experience is that his brother Georgie wanted to make a little sailboat. He wanted to seal it with paraffin and sail it on a little stream when it rains. So the boat falls in the sewer. Like that whole scene, man, his head popping up out of the fucking...
Oh yeah, like that's iconic right there.
So iconic, bro. Fuck
so
yeah.
Perfect. And what really sucks me into this whole movie is it's the performance of Tim Curry as that clown.
So good.
It is gripping, man. Like
amazing.
Mm-hmm. You just want to watch everything he says and just captivate.
These are all just words on paper, man. And this guy is like, he's just like, exactly. And it gets you like excited as a little kid. And he's like,
instead of just saying, "Do you want a balloon?" He's like,
right.
"Do you want a balloon?" Like he like, "Do you want a balloon?" Like stretching it out, you know, like stylistic things.
Yeah, the stylistics of even when he says, "Oh yes, Georgie, they float, they all float." Like he didn't have to do that. Like he could have just went, "Oh yeah, Georgie, they float, they all float, and when you're down here, you'll float too." You know, like he could have made a lot of bad choices.
He could have played it. He could have played it in a different way to where it was more like a jolly than like
ham it up.
You know,
he didn't ham it up at all. No,
he was that character.
Yep.
That was impressive, and I think that even if someone don't like this movie, I don't think I've ever heard a bad word about Pennywise himself.
No,
well, that's what I
dude.
think. I think the whole movie is solidified by basically awesome performances from the whole cast, like the kids,
really?
the adults, everyone really.
Guys, I gotta ask you now. Legitimately, you guys can tell me that was solid acting from everybody.
I thought it was. I mean, maybe not. Like, what's a specific instant where you didn't think it was?
It was like a children's version of acting to me, and what I mean by that is, yeah, obviously they're all kids, but it seemed like this was their first gig. Here's the thing, Stephen King writes his shit that way. I totally understand that, but I just thought that and it was a direct reflection because I've read parts of it, so it was definitely a reflection of his writing in general. And you look at kind of ensemble cast, how he creates friends and stuff like that. You look at Dreamcatcher, a lot of his movies, Stand By Me even, look at that shit, you know? So it's all about, you know, the group and stuff like that, and I just thought as a group, these kids sucked, like, at acting. These kids sucked at acting.
Whoa.
The only one that was good was the kid from Sidekicks with Chuck Norris.
The only one I'll give you is little Eddie was not that great of an actor. Like, he knows, Bill. Gosh, I hate it when you stutter my name. Like, that kid was not really... He's not a good actor. I'll give you that.
Okay, good.
Stan the Man Urich, the Jewish kid, he's not a good actor. Okay, I'll give you that.
Okay, all right. See, good.
Seth Green,
Great.
He's just who he is. I mean, that's who he is. Yeah.
I mean, Bevy, you know.
Beverly was great. I thought she was great.
She was good.
Like whenever her dad, you know, getting on to her about talking to some boy.
Yeah,
getting love from some boy, whatever. I thought that she showed some really good acting on that part.
Yeah, and he was actually a bad actor. I thought his acting was worse than hers in that.
So, like, look at the dad, the dad of I believe it's both those kids or whatever. That was so.
Oh, that was bad acting.
Okay. So I'm glad you guys. So you guys have agreed with me, and I've agreed with you. So maybe that was too harsh of a statement. All of the kids or whatever.
Not all of them. Just
I'll say, and I don't want to kill this movie, guys, because I really do like it, but at the same time, I cannot get past... I can get past it, but it's so glaringly obvious sometimes. It's the acting that's the biggest problem for me, and the fact that it feels like a made-for-TV movie.
My biggest thing that makes it seem like a TV movie is when you got the things like when they reunite, and when they build the freaking dam, when you got that music in the background, everything's jolly and amazing. Now that's freaking corny. That's freaking like, you know.
Okay, good.
Okay, yeah. And the other bad acting maybe was the police officer who's like, I want all you kids to stay down here. Velma Daniels was murdered. And like,
Velma Daniels.
But dude, doesn't it seem like a 1930s, 40s fucking...
But it's supposed to, though. It's supposed to. Yeah. The greasers and all that.
It's supposed to have that vibe. Like,
if that's what it was going for, then they succeeded. I just felt like it wasn't for me.
well, maybe I
Sorry,
think
go
that
ahead.
like a lot of me is kind of blind. Maybe not blinded, but maybe sometimes like there might be a problem with it or something. And I have so much freaking nostalgia for this.
Nostalgic,
movie. Like,
and that's
And that is like nostalgia's a bitch sometimes because it's just like you want to, you know what I mean? Like,
No, I disagree, man. You got to embrace that shit. Love that shit. I never apologize for fucking liking anything, dude. Why should you? Because it's like, hey, man, this is me, dude. Like, I get enjoyment.
Yeah.
Hater.
Maybe that Thelma Daniels line is my favorite line out of any movie ever. Like,
what is it?
You know, like.
Those things that Dan's mentioning, I agree, but I guess it's one of those things where I just don't care and I forgive it. Yeah. It's like whatever. It's such a great movie that this acting's bad, that acting is bad, but to me, I just try to imagine that they're just weird people and that's how they act.
Hey, that is a weird town.
Yeah.
You know.
Fucking weirdos.
No, it actually is a weird town.
Yeah.
The kid gets killed. He gets his arm ripped out of his socket. They don't show that, and there's another cool thing about the movie. Yeah, it's fucked up.
Killing kids all around, dude.
Yeah, that's cool that they go there, and this is a TV movie, man. So that's cool. The really cool thing is that this movie is psychological all the way because it literally doesn't show you almost anything, and it's all in your mind, and that's what it is. It's all in their minds, and eventually you do get the physical manifestation and the cold hard facts at the end, but throughout the movie it's all psychological and you don't see anything. It's all the fears in your own mind. So the audience literally lives the characters, and that's what's cool about it. So the kid dies. Bill's feeling bad. He goes in the bedroom. The book flies out of Georgie winks at him. The book flies out. It's bleeding. And here's another awesome part, which makes you take a ride along with the kids and not anyone else, is when the book is bleeding and the parents can't see it. And so that means that we see it with him and no one else does.
Good shit.
That's just like the later scene. Bevy is in the bathroom and that fucking balloon explodes, and her father is rubbing the blood on her face, and he doesn't see it, but he has to act like a spider went down the freaking drain. But she knows better that there's blood all over the place. Yeah, like she's like, what? Don't you see this? And then she doesn't even know what to say about it. She's like dumbfounded. She's like, a spider. And when she did that, I could picture myself doing that. Like if I saw something fucking crazy like that, and my parents, because you can't, like, you don't want someone to think you're like, nuts, right? Like, that's what you do. You go, you don't see that? This is obvious. He's not seen it. I got to say something. And you just say, okay, it was a spider. I don't know. He ran down the drain, So that's amazing. And that takes you on their journey. And you're now an insider with them, and everyone else is an outsider. And that's an awesome way to do with the audience.
You're right, bro. Yep.
Yeah, it's awesome. So Mike Hanlon's basically, he's the black gentleman. He's calling everybody to ask them to keep their pact, which they made, which we all find out what that pact was. And basically it's to come back to Derry if the clown did not die. So here's a really weird thing that's going to freak you guys out. So the next thing you see is New York City, and it shows the whole city, the Twin Towers, and it pans to the building that John Ritter lives in, and John Ritter is the character Ben Hanscom as an adult. Now, want to hear what's freaky? Yeah. The introduction to John Ritter's character is the World Trade Center Twin Towers in New York City. John Ritter died on September 11th, 2003. I know it's not like amazing connection like we talked about before, but come on. That's a little weird, man.
Right.
It's like crazy coincidences that happen with things like that.
Yeah, that's just weird to me. So, but that's cool. So he's with this, I guess, 80s hot Spanish chick. If girls do their hair that way today, they're not hot. And so he gets the phone call from Mike. He does his flashback. So number 2 flashback, Ben. He's the fat kid in school.
Hey guys, you know what, Alex? It's funny we both picked movies that have to do with like mind fucks, like flashbacks, and you know what I mean, for our Stephen King show. You know, we did It and Broken Window.
Yeah, instead of picking Christine.
Exactly. Instead of Secret Window, we did Broken Window.
No, Broken Window. Yeah.
Jerk. Brother. Sorry. Go ahead. Continue. I had to.
Wait, one thing I want to point out about the first introduction to him.
Yeah.
He fucking breaks his architect award. It falls on the ground.
Right, dude.
She's like,
yeah.
Oh, Ben, you broke your architect award. And he's like, oh, it's a tragedy. It's like, what the fuck?
It's an American tragedy.
Yeah, that's what it says. I always that part always stood out to me because it's like, what the hell?
Yeah, here's what's interesting about that. What is wrong with him? Because any normal person, he's a successful guy, he's banging a hot Spanish chick, he lives in a nice place in New York, he's on Time magazine. What is it about him that he's so disconnected and he can't enjoy this?
Right. I mean, you gotta think about the fact that when he gets a phone call, he leaves the chick and goes stand on the roof.
Almost suicidal. And that's strange because is it bothering him his whole life? Because they did make one mention that every one of them were not married, none of them had kids, and is that some kind of curse? Are they all unhappy?
Yeah.
I don't know, because some seem to be doing fine, so I wonder what Ben's problem is.
None of them are really doing fine.
Yeah, you think?
Right. Like, they maybe financially, but Bevy is in a peaceful relationship. Eddie's stuck with his mom.
Mm-hmm.
Mike is forced to be the lighthouse keeper, and he's, poverty and stuff.
Right. What about the comedy guy?
Well, he doesn't, I don't know. Well, I guess.
And who else is there? The Jewish guy. He seems all right.
That's another thing, like how much it has an effect on him. He, happy 100% life, he was about to, get it on or whatever, and then he goes and kills himself because he got a phone call.
Right.
So Ben, he gets picked on by the bullies and stuff at school. The one weird thing is that when they direct the scene, when Ben, it's after school, and he sees the two bullies leaning by the fence, and all of a sudden he turns and this guy's right there. How could he not have seen him?
Yes. Okay. Stuff like that has happened recently. But I watched Jurassic Park recently, where the velociraptor comes up to them, and suddenly the T-Rex grabs it in his mouth. How the hell did they not see that giant-ass T-Rex walk up into the room? Like movies do that stuff all the time, and it's like, how do we suspend our disbelief?
Yeah, they surprised us, but how do you surprise the characters?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what happened here. So what I thought was friggin' hilarious is, so these, this guy's he's holding a knife to him like he's really gonna cut him open. He's like, cut him? Huh? Cut him?
Oh, yeah.
So Ben kicks him in the nuts. They throw him through the fence. He goes rolling down the hill. And the funny thing about it is, before he even lands at the bottom of his fall down the hill, they're already yelling at him saying, I'm gonna bury you! You're dead! You're dead!
I know.
Nobody pushes me, kicks me, or whatever. It's like, dude, let the guy fall first and hit the floor like you're yelling at him. He's probably like, hold on, I can't hear you right now. When I'm done with this, I'll take in the rest of your abuse.
Hold on, I'm busy falling.
Yeah, I can't really make out what you're saying. When my head gets done bashing against the leaves and trees, I'll holy shit, man. Let the guy breathe a second before you yell more threats.
Oh, yeah.
They go down and they meet Bill and Eddie making a dam, a little baby dam. Mm-hmm. The interesting thing right away with Jonathan Brandis is he's a great actor and all that kind of stuff, and he did great overall. But god damn, he is the worst stutterer I have ever seen in my entire life. Like, he clearly never hung out with anybody who stutters. And
oh yeah,
neither did the guy who played him as an adult. I mean, neither one of these guys know how to stutter. Because I actually used to stutter as a kid.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, bad.
I didn't know that.
I couldn't start sentences. I'd be like, like you can't, the breath escapes you.
My dad used to stutter. He told me whenever he was younger.
Did he keep on reciting, he thrusts his fist against the post and still insists he sees the ghost?
Possibly. I don't know, I haven't really asked him. I'll ask him.
You should ask him if he did the it rhyme to overcome his stuttering.
I wonder if it works a lot. Like, I wonder if it's a good, method.
Yeah, imagine if they get worse. So then Ben Hanscom has the delusion of his dad.
Oh, that's a crazy scene.
Yeah, that's a crazy scene, and it's funny how they cut, because there's no, I would actually like to see the transition of his dad being normal, then suddenly balloons in his hands, and then suddenly he has the pants of...
Yeah, and the buttons on his suit. Like the little, the poofy buttons. Pom-pom things.
Yeah. And, they keep on cutting to to Ben's reaction, and then you go back and see.
Oh, yeah. I like that. It's like, it works in both ways.
Yeah.
Like, it's a nice way to not have to, like, show in the same shot and changing. And it gives them a way to do it technically, but also it looks good because it feeds in both the changing and his, like, reaction to the changing.
Yeah, it's fluid, and it's actually, like, when we see it, even we're like, what the hell? He has balloons.
And also, like, what the hell? Why is this guy standing over there? That's kind of weird in the suit. And then,
No, it's awesome. I love that. That's a classic creepy moment. What do you think about the swamp skeleton that comes out afterwards? Do you think that should have not been there? Or?
I think it's a good, it's a little bit technically dated.
Right.
The way it is, like, viewing now. But I think it's good because it's kind of like that's his dad, and his dad's dead.
Right, yeah. Yeah, his dad's actually dead, yeah.
Pennywise mocking him in a way where it's like, your dad's not really alive. This is really your dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like an asshole move of Pennywise, but that's what he does.
No, he's definitely an asshole. When it's Ben's dad, and he's kind of, I don't know what he's really doing to Ben. I would say coaxing him. I guess he's telling him to come here or come live with me or something. I don't know what the point of that was, except just to freak him out. What's interesting is he says, "Look, Ben, I got balloons, and they float. They all float." Why do you think Pennywise got hung up on the float? They all float. Like, what was it about Georgie saying that? And what triggered in Pennywise's mind that this is such an interesting aspect to where the dead kids are, and wherever that is?
Oh, because if you look back later in the movie, all his cocoons are floating in midair.
Is that what that is?
He wraps up all the bodies in like a spider-like webbing, and they're hanging from the ceiling of the cave place, the sewer.
So that's what he meant?
That's what I always thought, because they're floating.
Yeah, I guess you could figure hanging is floating in a way. Yeah, I guess Georgie was actually right, and Pennywise was so into the idea. It's like, yes, they float. They all float. So,
yeah. And
he just said that to this whole entire group of kids. Now, I wonder, did he say that to Velma Daniels? Did he say that to, all the other people?
Yeah.
I wonder. Then you move to Beverly Marsh, and she's a owner of a sweatshop, clothing manufacturer. I'm just kidding.
I mean, hey.
Hey, you never know. They have a big deal of a lifetime with a guy who's clearly controlling. You know what else? One little thing that most people probably don't notice, or they might notice it, because I think I notice things that people don't, but they do. When he pushes her hair back behind her shoulders, and then he goes, "No, leave it like this. It's perfect." And then she pushes...
He says, "Don't touch it." Yeah.
Yeah, he says, "Don't touch it." She moves it forward again. And then the very next scene where they're walking to the Chinese people, it's back again. So he said he saw it and put it back. So she cannot stop having him control her. And that was interesting.
Yeah.
After they make the deal of a lifetime, they pop some champagne, and he's like, "Whoa!" And he drinks it. And during that time, Beverly gets a call from Mike, and you don't really get to see too much at this time. The guy goes back upstairs, they have an altercation, and this pussy gets knocked out with something that she threw off of her her makeup.
Yeah. I always thought of, like, she hit him in the head with, like, what, some kind of makeup or lotion or some little jar. He hits the fucking ground. Like, he is out.
He was getting a belt, and he was snapping. He said, "It's been too long since the last time." This guy tears the hide off of her whenever she steps out of line. Like, what is she doing? This is a successful, probably millionaire-type person who has everything going for her. What is she doing? And I guess it's just because that's how she was raised. She thinks it's normal. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
But the thing that is such a pussy about him is that not only does he get knocked on the floor, But he couldn't even get up off the floor when she's leaving.
Oh yeah, he was like, it looked like he was, fearing the Reaper. Like,
Yeah.
like looking at her, he was,
Yeah.
I had to throw that reference in there because it's,
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, he couldn't get up. She leaves. She goes in a cab, and she's heading to Derry because Mike asked her to. And so then you get her background. She has a drunken loser dad that hits her, but luckily, we see him hit her once. I think he slaps her once.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's cool. This movie has tons of callbacks all the time.
I love that.
Yeah, and that's almost like, and believe me, I'm not comparing, but it reminds me sort of like a Saw movie, how Saw has so many callbacks.
Oh, yeah.
And I love those. That's what makes movies great, when you put
that's what's so genius about the Saw series, is because they have so many, the whole series is just so intertwined and woven and, like so much detail put into it. That's how I feel about the movie, it.
Yeah, it's psychologically thought out.
Oh, yeah.
In her flashback, during that, she actually meets Richie, who was played by Seth Green, and she meets Stan the Jew something, and he says oi a lot, and he's smart because he's Jewish, and the other guy's a comedian who does voices, and oddly enough, we never hear any of his voices. I mean, there's a couple where he's like, hey, sweetheart, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what is that? Then they build the dam at that point, and then after that,
and she has a crush on Bill. Like the whole love triangle, yeah.
Yeah, there's a love triangle, and they're all 10. And there's actually a very strange part of this movie that I'll get to later. I'll get to it at the end of the first half. So, because that's where it supposedly took place.
I think I know what you're talking about, and I was going to mention that too.
Yeah, right? Then you get to the balloon we talked about. It popped in the sink. You hear, and this is an amazing scene. You hear Pennywise gargling.
Oh, yeah.
And it's cool because he's gargling, and it's like he's talking under the blood in the sink, and it's just amazing. He's like,
I love the part, when she's listening to the drain, it's creepy, how, he's like, oh, I'm someone, and I'm someone, and we're the dead kids.
And we're the dead kids.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That was creepy. Balloon comes straight up out of the drain.
Yeah, and pops. Yep, it's awesome. The fourth flashback. Oh, yeah, we talked about the spider. She lied about being the spider. So the fourth flashback is Eddie, the kid with asthma.
He was an L7 weenie, for sure. If anyone likes the sand lie.
Yeah, right?
That's what he was.
Yeah. He's a total mama's boy, and it never ends. Yeah. Even being successful, he's still a mama's boy. He runs a limo company, but he still lives with his mom.
Yeah.
So right away, because he's literally Norman Bates. I mean, with the mom relationship.
In the book, he has a wife, and she is like the mirror
of his mother.
Of his mother, yes.
Wow.
It really is, like a kind of Norman Bates quality where a boy's best friend is his mother,
She even says that, I think. She goes, "You don't need friends, Eddie.
Yeah.
You have your mother." Something like that.
That's funny. I never really took the whole thing about Psycho and Norman Bates with that kind of approach.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Never really thought of it like that.
Yep. His flashback is the kids are in the movie theater. They're watching I Was a Teenage Werewolf. I believe they are watching the official movie too. I think it's really on the screen.
Yeah, that's the one they're watching.
And when they're watching that movie and the kids are screaming in the movie theater, at what point did it go from people screaming that much throughout a movie compared to the dead silence you get now when you watch a movie?
Oh well, I've been to a couple.
He accidentally kicks the soda over and it lands on the greasers, and Richie Tozer decides to make it 10,000 times worse, and he says if the movies were as ugly as you, I wouldn't leave the house or something. He dumps popcorn on him, or it's the other way around.
No,
right?
It's the opposite. Yeah, I was gonna say, in the greasers' point of view, I'd be pretty pissed if someone poured soda all over my head. I mean, I would be raging.
Yeah.
So
no, you're right.
I can kind of understand their motive behind that kind of thing.
Exactly. How about this, Ryan? The interesting thing, how Eddie is sort of like Norman Bates with his mother's relationship. How weird is it that Eddie gets a shower scene of his own?
Oh my gosh! Yes.
Isn't that so weird?
You're like, I'm realizing a bunch of things about this movie that I never even would have even thought of, you know?
Yeah, man, it's crazy. And that scene is iconic to me. I mean,
I love the imagery of the extending shower poles where they're just chasing him like he can't get away.
It's almost like Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, yeah.
What, the second one?
No, like, you know how the showers were chasing him and they're scolding hot? Then all of a sudden, as if that couldn't get creepy enough, Pennywise comes out of the fucking floor, dude.
Yep.
Well, okay, I love that scene, but the part where he stretches it out, that shot's a little bit cheesy.
Yeah.
A little bit, you know, that's a little, like,
claymation or some shit?
You said earlier, and it's kind of like, you know, you can tell it's made for TV, but, you know, that moment where it, like, extends out, like, the way he does it, it looks odd to me.
I wonder why they chose to do it that way. They could have just done a flat shot where his hands just part away, and then they show a different... Yeah, you know, and then come back up. But, I don't know. I guess they wanted to do that, So clearly Pennywise's whole MO here is never to kill anybody, it seems, right away. It's just to fuck with them, like...
Right. He enjoys it. He enjoys this shit, bro.
Yeah. Is he the eater of children, or what? Like, what does he want?
I read something, because I was reading about this last night, because I was kind of curious, like, why he never even tries to kill them, like, what's his motive? And someone said that, I hate to keep bringing up the differences between the book and the movie, because that's a whole other thing. Apparently in the book, every time they meet, he tries to kill them, but something happens where they get away from him.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's not until that they're a group that he can't kill them, because individually they're not strong enough, I guess. And he tries to kill them, but something happens where he can't, you know?
Huh. I wonder why they didn't show that.
Yeah, because that's not explained in the movie, but apparently that's how it is in the book I read.
No shit.
So I was thinking
very intriguing, dude. I want to see that shit now again. I want to watch it again because of stuff like that. So you guys definitely legitimize and make up a good argument for the fact that the dark aspect of it is so powerful and strong enough to actually, warrant the love. So, hey, man, you guys fucking rock.
Thanks. And see, Dan is a funny guy to me. He makes me laugh a lot, and it really surprises me.
Fucking amuse you?
He amuses me. So what's so surprising about that is that Dan could sit here on his show and just say funny shit I'll laugh about 12, 15 times, or whatever it is, however long the show is. And it amazes me that they're writing a movie like this, and they're introducing Richie Tozier, and he's on some late night TV show, and the best fucking joke they can come up with is Godzilla is attacking a city, and he runs into a power line. Like, whoa, that's your closing act?
You know, the crowd goes fucking hates it. They love that joke. And he's like, I'm on top of the world. I just told the best joke of my life.
Yeah. And his agent's like, that was great. That was amazing. They're going to want you to fill in for Letterman. Or Leno. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. He's going to fill in for Letterman. He's like, oh, I'll let Leno do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another what the F moment sort of with this movie is that when they were all sitting around talking about what they want to be when they grow up after Bill gets done reading a story he made up, the Jewish kid says, well, I'd like to be a catalog so I could chronologically organize things and find them in order. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like, who says something like that? Like, you couldn't think of anything else. Like, let's just write a total bore zero character, and this is him.
Alex, yo, you're the fucking man, bro. I'm so happy, dude. You came around, and just as I was hoping you would. Yo, you were like, fuck this movie. I love you, baby.
and then you get the funny scene where Henry Bauer eventually pays back Richie Tozier, smears potatoes on his glasses.
Yeah.
He flips the tray, hits the principal with his tray, and he goes in the basement looking for a mop, and he finds a fucking werewolf, dude. Now, even though werewolves in real life would scare the shit out of us, I feel I feel like a werewolf in a Letterman jacket is just not as scary as Pennywise.
I think that they were trying to like mark it off of Teen Wolf.
Yeah, right.
Well,
they had to have been.
The wolf thing was clearly, he was playing off of, I guess Richie truly was afraid of the teenage werewolf, so I guess that's why that happened.
How come it specifically tailored to Richie, but nobody else?
Yeah, that's true.
The one person
how come Richie saw his greatest fear, but everyone else just gets the clown? Like, does he like him the most?
They did give somebody else something later on as adults, I think. The hell was it?
Oh, Bevy.
Yeah, her dad.
Yeah, Mrs. Kirsch.
Yeah, Kirsch, and then her dad. Yeah, and then, so they trick her. I can't think of anything. I know the next one is Mike Hanlon now. You get to see the black kid and what happened to him. So he's new at school. The kids hate him. They call him the N-word. He runs away from Henry. He ends up with all the other kids, and they become the Losers Club. And here's the funniest part, man. Like, we talked about writing and some bomb lines in the movie. How about this, man? Henry Bowers, he gets rocks thrown at him. The kids fend him off, and all he could say is, "You're going to get a surprise. You're going to get such a surprise." Like, oh my God, dude. Like, when was that ever scary to hear?
I know. Like, you just got fucking tackled by a 10-year-old, dude. Back up. Like,
he's like walking away limp, and all he could say is, "You're going to get such a surprise." Like, I would be excited. I'd be like, "Well, what'd you get me?" Like
oh.
This is like when my parents said you're going to get a surprise, I was looking forward to it.
I'd start writing like a wish list. Like, this is what I want. Make sure it's one of these things.
Yeah, right? And then you get freaked out by the scene where Pennywise is in the book, and...
Oh, that's like one of my top scenes from the movie, I think. I love how they incorporated, like, it's... I love the moment when he's just, doing the flip or whatever, so he just stops and points and makes that noise. And then they know, like, shit's about to go down.
You killed my brother George, you bastard! Let's see you now. Let's see you now. He's scared of us, I can feel that. I swear to God I can. I want to kill it. Help me. Please, help me. Help me.
The cool thing, another thing, Pennywise's footprints in the library, the balloon next to Mike, like, you don't see that happen, so just to see the footprint is enough. And that we're going to get into a major plot point here, like the whole thing where everything's left to your imagination. That's what makes this movie so great, like Ryan said. And at the same time, once you take that ability away from us at the end of the movie, and we're no longer allowed to ponder or wonder, and our mind doesn't go where it's going to go, and you give us solid evidence of something, the movie actually falls completely flat at that point. So it's really interesting how that dynamic, it was so spot on, and all of a sudden it left us. So Kid 7 is Stanny. He's like the total loser. He's in suspenders and a bow tie at 40 years old. He's with a wife with a short haircut. She looks like a guy pretty much. Bev. So his flashback is that Bev was shooting the target practice, knocks all the bottles, so she's going to be the one to use the slingshot. Her doing the slingshot thing and having such good aim, was that supposed to like be some kind of tie-in to how well she threw that thing at her boyfriend's head, that jar?
Oh, hey, I never thought about that either.
Yo, blew my mind, son.
So they go into that weird sewer refinery type thing. What'd you think of that? That was fucking crazy. The whole swamp behind
it's like big
and scary, right? And he's like, when Ben's dad was making the illusion, he's like, Ben, this is where I live now. And that was like, it was so eerie.
Yeah, like that's the kind of building even if you knew nothing about it or whatever, and you looked at that building, it's still freaking creepy looking.
Yeah, right.
It's like across a little pond by itself, all secluded down, in the little woods area. It's like, what the fuck is that? Like,
what the fuck? Yeah. Right?
What the hell?
It is.
So they all go in there to kill it. They got these silver rocks they're going to kill him with. They believe that'll work just because they believe, and they believe that believing is the most important thing. And now Henry Bauer and his two asshole friends, Belch and somebody else, goes in with them. Belch. And every time he burps, he lifts his eyebrows and goes like...
Yeah.
The one kid gets attacked by the light. Stan gets kidnapped by Belch and Henry. Then all of a sudden, the light comes through the tube. It busts open. It sucks in Belch. And he gets folded in half like a lawn chair.
That's like I was like, dude just got sucked into a pipe. Like,
yeah, and he's like, Belch! I like how even though his friend is clearly dead, he still refers to him by his, like, jokey nickname. Like, he don't...
I know, like, that...
Love it.
Yeah, he don't go, Brian! He goes, Belch!
Put that on his gravestone, Belch.
The light comes back out of the tube. Henry, he looks straight at the dead light. Stanley got a little glimpse of it, and his hair turns bright white. And
that's a weird shot for me, because it's like a weird, like, the way it's shot is, like, weird. Like, he, like, spins, and it's, like, so dramatic, and, you know?
Yeah.
I like it, but it's, like, because he shows his hair, like, slowly turning or whatever, and it's really mesmerized. But the way it looks, it's just, like, it's kind of odd.
It is odd, yeah. It's almost, like, made for TV odd.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You said it.
I mean, I mean, I was kind of thinking I might be watching a made-for-TV movie, but...
Yeah.
No, sure.
I think the camera that they use in the film stock, I think that warrants real movies to me. I mean, it doesn't look like videotape, so to me, I'm happy.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So now there's a pod that comes after the kids instead of Pennywise, and I think they don't look at it or something. I don't know. I know that Stan saw it earlier, but so then Pennywise does come around. And he takes... they're all holding hands, and that's a great scene. They're holding hands, and he looks, and he's holding Pennywise's hands.
Yeah.
That was fucking crazy. To me, that's payoff shit. That's good shit in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's perfect to me. So he takes Stan. The kid's like, this is battery acid, you slime, referring to what Richie Tozier said earlier.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Beverly hits him with the slingshot. His, I forgot where the first one goes. I think maybe she misses or something. And the second one hits him in the head.
Yeah, later it says that it's in the gutter of the drain, like the drain gutter or something like that.
Yep. And the other one was, like, stuck on the wall or some shit.
Yeah, lodged in the crack, yeah.
Yeah.
That's when they hit him in the face.
Yep. So Pennywise does this weird, like, tumble sault into, like, a sewer drain. And that was also, like Ryan said, when he got himself into the shower, that kind of weirdness, that same weirdness took place here, yeah.
And then the giant tentacle pops out.
Yeah, okay, so he's holding onto his hand, Bill, I think, and he pulls his glove off, and then you see these big tentacle hands.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow, I could be... Wow, yeah.
Now, what did you think of that? Like, did you think that was just another little jump scare type thing, or did you think that there's a little bit more to Pennywise than the clown? Like, did you go that far into it when you first saw that?
It reveals, like, more into, like, the fact that he's not just a clown. He's, whatever.
Right.
That's what you thought, Dan? Like, he's so much more than a clown. He's everything scary in a way.
And the fact, you're right, but the fact that he actually picked the clown as a vehicle, like as a vehicle, exactly. And he used the clown aspect, which makes it even more creepier because he knew what would scare them. I love it.
Yep, definitely. That's what I'm saying, man. So they kill him, and they make a pact to come back, and that was very cool. And the end of the first half of the movie is that, so, Mike Hanlon basically asked Stan to come back like he said he would, and the next thing you see is his wife go upstairs trying to get a little bit, like Ryan said. She goes up with it's Miller time.
This is what she said. She's like, I rub your chest and your back, and then she kind of gives a little giggle, like she's like...
Yeah, right?
And then...
So she goes up, opens the door. This coward is sitting in the bathtub, dead. Blood is dripping off of his hand, and it appears he slashed his wrist and wrote "it" on the wall. Now, here's what is amazing to me. Why not just say, no, I can't go?
Yeah.
What is worth dying for? I don't understand why he felt it necessary to not exist anymore.
Remember, he looked into its deadlights, so he was different than the others.
Right. He said, I looked into his lights and I wanted to be there.
Yeah, so I kind of think that he kind of, like, it brought up his whole thing whenever, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's affected him more of a, like, way more than any of the rest.
Wow, I didn't think about that.
Wow.
He's kind of, like, more tormented by it because he actually looked into the deadlights, you know?
Huh.
Right.
In a way, so it's like, it has a much more, like...
Yeah, more effect on him, yeah.
Lots of ways, yeah.
And more residual effects as life went on.
Yeah.
Yep. So we're going to take a little break here, and just like the movie itself, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to get to part 2 of the It review. We'll be right back.
Swear to me. Swear to me that if it isn't dead, it won't come back.
I swear.
Swear.
I swear it. Yes, swear.
I swear too.
Swear.
Swear.
Hello?
Bill, how have you been?
Who is this?
George Takei here. How have you been?
I don't believe I know you.
I grew up in Arkansas.
You did? Well,
Yes.
so did I. But I don't believe I know you.
I circled an ad here in the paper that might interest you. Here, it says, 1 lengthy black teenager for sale.
Teenager for sale.
Yes.
Just a minute.
Oh, great. Can you excuse me while I dappled my wang with the latex?
Yeah.
You won't believe what I just heard.
What did you just hear?
I love lengthy black men.
Oh, you do?
Excuse me, but aren't you a grimy Mexican?
No, I'm just a hillbilly from Arkansas.
You had better be prepared to turn wet and messy.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, brother. You wrong sex to make me wet and messy.
Excuse me, but aren't you aroused?
Aroused? No, you pissing me off, mother.
You seem to be aroused.
No, you pissing me off.
But I'm just a bit concerned about lengthy black teenagers.
You sound like a sick mother.
Yes.
I'd like to have about 5 minutes alone with you.
You're pathetic.
I'd make you pathetic, you piece of...
I'll show you. I'm going to get that wang.
I bet you do.
I hate you.
I ain't got much damn use for you either.
That's crazy.
Crazy? You sound like you got a problem, brother. You ever read the Bible? Good Lord put a man to sleep and took a rib out of him for a walk. And if you like long, lengthy black men, and I bet you even like children, don't you?
Yes.
I'd give you $500 to meet you.
I want to get to know your lengthy black lollipop.
Oh, I got your black length lollipop.
I love your wang.
I bet you'd love my 12-gauge shotgun, too. Stuck up door, pull the trigger about 3 times.
Now, don't get all worked up over it.
I'd like to put you out of your misery.
I get a strong smell from my wang.
Well, take a bath.
Good idea. One of my neighbors in Denver is a lengthy black teenager.
Well, you should have called him.
Oh, my God.
Now what?
Now, don't get all worked up over it.
About what?
My wang.
The only things you mentioned in your language that since you've called that I care anything about is the word God. Everything else has been nasty. filthy, obscene, vile, perverted.
Let me think about this. I'll call you back in an hour.
Oh, I tell you what, now, I don't know how you come up with my telephone number, but you hitting the wrong bases here.
All right, guys, it is side 2, part 2 of the It review. It's almost the same formula here. They travel through each character, sort of once again. It's a little bit more blended, but so the first one is that Bill goes back to Derry, and the first thing he sees is Pennywise digging graves. He obviously, one of them is filled. He goes, that one's taken already. The rest are for you guys. And that's symbolizing that Stan is dead. Bill doesn't really get it at the time. And then it's Miller time with Mike Hanlon. He goes to his house. He says, wow, this used to be Poor Town, right? And he goes, it still is, Bill.
Yeah.
He walks into his own house.
and you know, for Bill, he's freaking like rich, famous author.
Yeah.
And he's like, he kind of has this look in his face. He's like, "Is this yours?"
yeah, hey, it's paid for.
Yeah. He's like, "I'm a bachelor."
Yeah, I'm a bachelor, Bill. That's all I need. Yeah, you know what I was thinking too? Like, this guy is obviously like the poor bastard of the group. Like, couldn't all these assholes just give him $10,000 each, and the guy could have?
I
70?
know, right?
You
They're
come on.
fucking rich.
Oh yeah, dude.
Famous architect, famous designer, famous comedian, famous author. And then Eddie is like a conductor or something.
Yeah, limo owner, a limo
or whatever.
place
Yeah,
owner. Yeah, they all got money. So Richie has a very, very, very cool scene. I know Dan loves this scene. It's in the library.
I think that's probably, I've said this a few times, but I really do think, I was watching this, and I really do think that that's probably in my top 3 or 5 scenes of the whole movie.
No shit.
The library.
What do you think about that, Dan? When Pennywise is sitting on top of the balcony, he's like, ha ha, ha ha, ha ha, and the balloons are popping in people's faces. You know, it's funny, they tried not to give a reaction, but you can see them all flinch.
I noticed that.
Right.
Like, especially the old lady, because she flinches a little bit whenever it hits her face. And you can tell. Like, imagine being that actor. I would burst out. I couldn't do it. Man. I would, like, she flinches,
Yeah. Dude. I just love when he's yelling in the girl's face, and he's like, can you tell Mike Hanlon that I'll be... And she's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
And she walks away, she's holding her ear, she's like, needs, like, some hearing aids or something now.
His nose and said, honk, honk.
Hey, how about that? Okay, let's get into this. What is with the beep, beep, Richie? I never understood the origin of it,
Beep,
or what
beep,
that
Richie.
means. Yeah, is that telling him to... I know it's telling him to sort of shut up, but...
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what they use that for. Kids saying beep, beep, like, okay, we got it,
Beep, beep, what does that mean? Beep, beep.
I think it's like, maybe like you're like honking at someone to move on. Like when you're in the car, you're like honking at them.
Wow.
Like beep, beep. I think it might be like them, like saying, okay, move on, go. Like stop with the subject that you're on,
I'm going to use that in my life. I'm serious. If my girlfriend brings up dumb shit in front of people, I'd be like, beep, beep, Tiff.
Man, I'm going to use that too.
I got to do that. And if she ever says beep, beep, I'll say, yeah, beep, beep, move on. Keep it moving, bitch.
Keep it moving, baby.
Hey, she's going to hear that, and you're going to be in the doghouse, man.
I'll tell her to skip this. I'll tell her this episode sucks.
That Ryan Murphy guy, shoot. He's like an anchor. He really took this shit down.
Yeah, Ryan Murphy was on it. Please, don't listen to that show.
I mean, this show is like Titanic, and he was the glacier. Like, it just really... Yeah.
So then, Ben Hanscom, John Ritter, Jack Tripper goes down into the Barrens to say hello to some old ghost. He sees his father again, but this time he's that skeleton again.
Can we take another minute, Alex, to praise John Ritter and how much of an awesome actor he was and how fucked up it is that he died?
Yeah, and... Oh, shit, that was weird. I thought... I was going to make a connection, but it's actually not this one. Jonathan Brandis... I thought grew up to be John Ritter, but he didn't. Ben Hanscom did. So I was going to say, both of those people are dead right now, and they were both really...
Oh, yeah.
They had huge impacts.
They did.
In the world. I mean, everybody knows Jack Tripper, and everybody knows Jonathan Brandis.
Right.
Yeah.
It's weird because Jonathan Brandis actually killed himself. He hung himself, and the reason why a lot of people speculate is because of a girl. You know, she told him she didn't love him anymore, or whatever the case, and he killed himself over a chick. So,
dude, that sucks, man.
just like we talked about that crazy eeriness when the clown was behind the laundry and stuff, there's one where he's driving away after seeing that, and then Pennywise on the side of the road, dude.
And the balloon in the cab.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just turn back now.
Yeah, dude. Oh, I love it.
That's more of a staple when they're older, just like Mike Hanlon in the library, and then this one.
You know, I was thinking about it, and I've said before, the second part isn't as good, but if you think about the individual, like, scenes, there's some gold in the second part.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
like
dude.
the library scene, and, you know, the whole thing about...
what we just said now.
Yeah, like, there's some really good scenes in it.
Yeah.
In both parts.
I agree.
Well, here's the thing, Dan. I imagine you don't like the last half, but just think of this, like Ryan said, the scene with Beverly and the old lady, and then she turns into like a zombie dad, and she's like, "You're not real. You're not real." Like amazing, dude. The two we just talked about.
I love that, because then it turns into basically her father.
Right.
With like a wig on, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, man.
Which is kind of psycho-like also, if you think about it.
And that balloon that just, like, stayed still and bounced on the road, but it just...
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I love that scene. You know, you say that, like, kind of and laugh like it's a passing thing. That's an awesome scene. I love that.
No, it is great.
Oh, wait, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know how we were talking about earlier with how do you not see the bully? There's a fucking truck. I'm in a van. It almost hits her. How did that van not see it?
Oh, yeah, I hate that part.
She was standing in the road for like 2 minutes, and the van acted like it was about to, she popped out of nowhere. Like, that van would have seen her.
Right.
He did not slow down. He didn't make any reaction to the fact that there's a human being.
If she didn't move, he turned the bitch over. Like, that's how that van was.
How about the aspect of this? How come Pennywise needs Henry to kill them all? Like, why couldn't he do it? Like, he says, "I'm the eater of children, I'm this, I'm that, blah, blah," and suddenly he needs some, like, 2-bit dime store hood.
Yeah. I think it's because, like I mentioned earlier, if they're together, he can't get them. So he needs an outside source.
Oh, because they were always sticking together, right? Then we get the amazing fortune cookie scene when they're all at the Chinese place.
I love that. Yeah. That freaking bird, the baby bird.
The crab, the eyeball.
It's an eyeball, yeah.
Yes.
And they're like, "Dummy up, everyone," because they know it's not really there.
They know it, yeah, exactly.
Then, and here's another reason I don't understand why people hate the second half. The fucking scene where Stan's head is in the refrigerator and he just starts insulting everybody.
Yeah.
We forgot to mention something in the first part.
Oh, yeah. You know what's so weird? As soon as dude, me and you have, like, a connection. As you just stopped me, I was thinking I don't know what it was about us, that scene that made us both think this, but...
I think it's because Bevy walks in, and she's, like kissing all of them and stuff, you know?
Maybe that's why, yeah. Okay. All right, so what Ryan's talking about is, check this out, Dan. This is going to blow you away, man. Everyone knows this is from Stephen King's novel, It, all right? Changes must be made to do a movie. They fit a lot more in here because they had more time. This is the length of 2 movies. But there's one thing that Tommy Lee Wallace deliberately took out. And this is weird.
Yeah, very weird.
At the end of part 1, when they're all down in the sewer to go get Pennywise, apparently at one time, either it was after they killed him or before they killed him, I really don't know.
I think it was after.
Okay. They were all trapped down there or something along those lines. So Bev apparently has sex with all the boys in the group while they're 10 years old and in the sewer.
I read about this because I was like, what the heck? So I read about it, and I think it's because they wanted to, like, spiritually, like, link with each other or something.
What the fuck was that?
I know.
You know what? I saw them alluding to this because earlier, remember when she said, "I'm on a date with you, it's our first date," and she kissed, and she goes, "Oh, I'm on a date with you too," and she kissed the other one?
Yeah.
That was, like, enough for me, and I think I hope that was added by Tommy Lee Wallace to kind of substitute for the other wacky shit. And the whole thing is, like, Stephen King is a weirdo, and he has, like, that's like one of his sick fantasies, dude.
What's that?
He was just writing his own fantasies at that point when he wrote that. And it's weird that he chose to do it when they were 10 years old.
Also, there's another scene that I don't know how true this is. I haven't read the book, but I let one of my friends borrow the book, and she told me about this scene that I don't know if it's true or I might be mixing something up because it's been a while since she told me about it. But apparently, you know, the greasers, apparently one of them, like, tries to get to see the other one, like, naked or, like, jerk off together or something.
What?
Like, in the woods or
Maybe Belch. Was it Belch?
I'm not sure. I'm going to have to look that up. But what was it, Belch? Like,
does his penis belch?
It's like, yeah, apparently that's a scene from the book also. So that's pretty, like, you know, that's, you know.
Wow, he's a weirdo. And I wonder, in the remake, are they going to go with that? I wonder if they're going to, like, have her have sex. And I don't, you know, I just think they're too young, man.
Let's say this, they're not definitely remaking it. I mean, that's just our theory. So
Well, there's always rumors, yeah.
Can we talk about that for a minute, you guys? Because I think I'll bet you if they remade this right and take away that end part. Oh, and just to clarify, bro, I want to say this too because you said this a few times. I don't fall into the category of I think the second half is shit.
No?
No. I look at it like the end is shit. That end scene, you guys know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Wow, then we all agree, I bet.
Shouldn't let the end affect the whole part. Come on,
Yeah, that's
man.
the thing. I don't let it affect
Well, no,
it.
I don't let it, dude. I don't let it. Fuck that, dude. Well, yo, I got mind control over Tebow. He'd be like, shut the fuck up. I'll shut up, but when he leaves, I'll be talking again. No. But I think it's one of those things where the movie's good, it doesn't affect my viewing, and this fucking killed it for me. But you know what I do?
Yeah.
I gotta sit there and just kind of giggle, and I was like, that escalated quickly.
Yeah, dude. Oh, please.
You know?
So Henry Bowers escapes the penitentiary. When he goes to escape, he like confronts the guy who's the guard, and all of a sudden Pennywise steps out. And here's the cool thing: Pennywise steps out, and it's like, oh yeah, oh shit, and all of a sudden they rise up to his head, and a fucking dog, and a dog jumps out.
That's made for TV.
That's made for TV right there. Yep, that's perfectly set.
And then the shot of him attacking the guard, and it's like slow motion, like blurry,
Yeah,
like, you know.
That's TV.
Like, that was bad.
Yeah, there's some parts, but you know, that's just how it goes.
But also, like, the shot of Pennywise's face in the moon, that was a little...
Yeah, that was not good either.
That was so sick shit, dude. That was so ridiculous, dude. But once again, I don't think even that killed the movie for it, but it definitely is just like, yeah, your credibility is lost a little bit there.
It would have been, like, a better scene, like, maybe it's on the book or whatever. They should have had him, like, in the shadows of his room. Like, you know, that would have been a little bit creepier than in the face of the moon. Like, that's a little bit, you know.
It's a little much, yeah.
Yeah, like, a little bit overboard.
Superimposing your face on it's like...
Yeah.
It's whatever.
I don't know.
So, Henry gets out, stabs Mike.
Shanks him.
Shanks him, yeah. And then Henry's such a twerp that he ends up stabbing himself just because just because people are pulling him off of Mike. He ends up stabbing himself. Go figure. I don't even understand any of that. And what I love is that they just fucking leave him for dead. Like, they're like, well, let's put the TV on and put the do not disturb sign on the door.
Yeah, right.
And they're like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So they
Keep it moving.
Like, that douche got what he deserved. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, right. So, here's the greatest scene in the movie. This is the funniest fucking shit ever.
oh my god, I think I know what you're talking about.
So John Ritter's in his room.
Yes, this is it.
And Beverly goes in there and she says, January embers, my heart burns there too. And he's like, what? She's like, you wrote that, didn't you? And he's like, how did you know? She's like, I've always known. So they start making out.
And he's like, let's get it on. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, wow, wow.
Yeah.
So he's all into it, making out with her, blah, blah. All of a sudden, he's looking in the mirror and he looks down. And the fucking camera pans up and you see clown shoes and these big yellow baggy pants.
Uh-huh.
Is this a reference to The Shining?
I don't know The Shining like that, is it? I don't know.
When he's making out with the with the hot woman, and then he looks in the mirror and it's an old lady. It's like exactly the same shot.
Yeah?
And I thought that maybe like it might be like a Stephen King reference.
Yeah, definitely. So he's making out with Pennywise, and it's funny because as soon as he looks in the mirror, the shot of him in the mirror, you see white paint smeared and red lips all over his mouth.
Right?
It's so funny, man. That's hilarious. So then what's real funny is that after that, he really bumps into Bev. She mentions the poem shit again right away.
And he flipped shit on her.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I want to ask you guys, Dan, if this just happened to you, I don't give a fuck. If she just recited that shit again 5 minutes later, would you make out with her again?
Yeah.
Ah, you're so stupid.
If she was like, it's really me, I was like, well, maybe, 50-50 chance I'm going to make out with a girl. 50-50 chance I'm going to get attacked by a clown again. I think I'll take my chances, honestly.
Yeah, right. He's going to grab clown ass again.
This motherfucker, I got a 50-50 shot. That's what I said.
Yeah, Dan's like, what are the chances this shit'll happen again? Okay, I'll bite.
Yeah. Even at least it's a good story to tell.
right, yeah, you can see it coming, kind of, sometimes.
You think that I got attacked by a clown? You think I made out with a clown twice? I mean, once on a day? No, I made out with a clown twice.
what I love about it is not only, like, just on the off chance that Beverly wants to make out with him again 5 minutes later, not only does that happen, but she also says the same exact thing about the poem. The chances are unbelievably ridiculous. But
yes.
Yeah, I got that, and I was like, huh, interesting.
Yep. So here's the thing I love about it. We talked about nostalgia. I think what really invested us is the nostalgia that these guys have amongst each other. Like Mike going back to retrieve the rocks in the sewer. Like, that just brings you back. It makes you feel like really part of this. And it
brought it back, yo.
It brought it back. It's the best.
It's kind of the same vibe as Sandlot for me. I referenced that earlier. Like, it's got, it gives you that kind of childhood, like, buddy, we're all in this together kind of feeling.
Yes.
That's what I like about this movie. It's got that kind of tone to it, where, like, sucks you in and gives you that the nostalgic feeling.
And there's so many callbacks, like, everything. It all seems so important. Even when Bill sees the piano playing, and it's the same song that was playing in the very beginning of the movie before Georgie left the house. And it just really connects you with the adult characters. And, the whole weird thing is that, like, people don't like the old characters, but they were always apart, and it really melds the two together really well. I just don't understand.
Yeah.
And the really weird thing is that Mike Hanlon was the last one to join the Losers Club, yet he seems
like
he's all about it, though.
Right.
I think it's because they saved him. Like, he was, the black kid, because it was the 60s, whatever. And they, he was, rocket for your pocket or whatever they told him. Like,
yeah, right.
Those should be that. And they just, like, took him in. So I think that he feels like he owes it to them.
Yeah.
To kind of, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, kind of be that person.
But there's a weird dichotomy here, because he's the last to join, but he's all about the Losers Club. He's all about it. And yet, when they leave Henry Bauer's body for dead, literally, in the hotel room, and they leave, Richie Tozer is the last one to look at the television, and they talk on the news. They talk about another string of kids getting killed and how her body was mutilated, and he knows it's Pennywise. However, he's not into this at all. Like, you would think that he's all gung-ho, like, you know what, fuck this, let's go get this guy, man, he's doing this shit again. Instead, he's like, what the fuck are we doing? Come on, guys, we're gonna go monster hunting. I'm a little old to be diving in sewers. Like, he is not having it.
That sounded just like it. That was awesome. And, like, at dinner, he's like, I'm just gonna, it was nice having dinner with you guys, but I'm just gonna, like, take a flight back home, like, maybe rest a little bit. And everyone's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, right.
Like, you're wimping out on us? Like,
yeah, so, like, the people that shouldn't have the motivation to be who they are do. It's always a dichotomy there. It's so strange. Oh, so I guess at this point now, we're in the sewer. They're going back. They're going to kill Pennywise once and for all. Or should I say it. So Bill realizes Audra is down there because the purse is there and this and that, and he starts stuttering again. Like I said, the worst stutter ever. I don't think these guys have never heard someone stutter. Clearly, it's just unbelievable how bad he is. He's like, and it's like, what the dude? Are you having an orgasm or trying to tell me something?
Yes.
It's so.
I mean, that's what I sound like, but whatever.
All right.
So now, Dan, since we're all on board here with the ending, so the last vision you get of Pennywise is this fucking like projection onto a wall of Pennywise's head. So all we get is that thing, and then he tries to explain what's going on. He says, the only you think you know me or something, but all you know is what your little minds are allowed to see, or something like that.
Right.
And that's supposed to tell us that it's not really him. So they're preparing us for the shitstorm that's about to take place, pretty much.
Exactly.
So then Eddie just stops everybody, because that little boat leads them to the door to Pennywise, Georgie's original boat, and they're about to go in, and he stops them to tell them that he never got laid, and Richie's like, well, I can't help you with that, bud, but thanks for sharing.
That was weird, wasn't it, dude? It was almost like...
Oh, my God. And you got to think that he actually died. That means that he never...
He died a virgin.
That's...
You remember in Beavis and Butthead's Christmas when Beavis is looking at things to come and it says, this is the tombstone of Beavis, he never scored?
He never scored.
I never saw that, but stuff like that.
Dude, he killed him. He killed him.
Yeah, that's Eddie, man. He never scored.
Because Butthead had a say over that beforehand. Into setting up that joke,
How sad is his life? I mean...
Oh, it's his life is horrendous.
It's just so sad.
Fake, in whatever that's called, asthma camp.
Yeah, it's not actually, because even... Oh, wait, we forgot the thing where he meets the old man in the store.
Oh, yeah!
I thought that was a pretty strong scene, because you see him... It reminded me of Silent Night, Deadly Night, when he's talking to Grandpa.
Yeah, right?
Because he's like mumbling and stuff, and suddenly he's like evil,
He's like, I was always partial to licorice, Sonny.
Yeah. No alcohol, always partial to liquor.
Yeah, but how about when he reaches out to grab Eddie's arm and it's a fucking tentacle? Like, Eddie makes Eddie has no reaction to the idea that a tentacle is grabbing his arm. He's just like, whatever, the guy's grabbing me.
You remember me.
Yeah, you remember me. Wow. His own mother doesn't remember him.
Yeah, right?
Sorry, wrong guy. His mother's obsessed with him.
Yeah.
So here's the funny part, though, when he's telling everybody how he never got laid. When he's saying this, he explains why he never got laid, and he says, it's because I could never have sex with anybody I'm not really in love with, and I never loved anyone. He looks right at Bev and he goes, except for you guys. And it's like, okay, so what do you think? I'm going to have sex with you because you loved me?
Yeah, I know. It's like, maybe we can stop for a moment and, go back there,
That's
like
different
old times, right? And they follow the book.
Yeah. He's like, so if you're not doing anything, Bev, I was in love with you, so I could have sex with you, technically, if you want.
I mean, actually, that line makes no sense if they followed the book, because they did, kind of. Unless she had sex with all of them, except for Eddie.
Right, yeah. She did have sex with him already.
Ugh. Man, I wish I gotta read this whole book again, dude. Damn, dude. Because I hear so many good things about this book, and I wanna hear the full fleshed out version, no pun intended.
Yeah. They actually wrote a screenplay for it, and it was going to be a 3-part series.
Wow.
And it was going to be 6 hours, but they told them to cut it down to 4 hours. So they never shot the full 6 hours, but they originally wrote so that there'd be enough material for it to be a 6-hour miniseries.
Wow.
I mean, but that's the thing, though. Stephen King, dude. See, that's the thing. He writes miniseries and stuff like that. Look at The Langoliers, Rose Red, Storm of the Century. All of these, I think it was well over 6 hours for that one.
The Stand.
The Stand! Yeah, and there's a lot, dude. And kind of an ensemble cast type of movies, too. And that's why I like it, too. It's not like over dramatic either. You know, there are very good movies that have good character pieces and stuff like that. And not that these characters are always bad in these ensemble movies, but at the same time, it's very nice to watch a movie that keeps it flowing and can touch on that emotional level.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's great.
Great writer, dude, out there, you know, and that's encouraging, you know?
Yeah. So they go in there, they look up, everybody's in the webs, like Ryan said earlier, they're all floating in the webs, and Audra's up there, she's in a catatonic state because of the deadlights. So here's where the movie takes a shit, man. Fucking gigantic spider.
This is how I always thought. You know how, like, crappy the spider looks?
Yeah.
Maybe it's like, man, I didn't get time to morph into the spider, so I'll just, like, morph into this half-ass version. Like, maybe that's the whole excuse behind it. Like, you know, he's like, oh, man, I didn't get time. You know, my guest got here early. I didn't get preparation time. Something like that.
I didn't study for the test.
Yeah. So supposedly in the book, it's so well written, and you can't. Tommy Lee Wallace said he almost couldn't put what was on the book into film, even if he had hundreds of millions of dollars and unlimited time, which he had neither of. And he said, even if I did, you couldn't translate what Stephen King wrote because it was all like some like psychokinetic battles going on. There's so many. There was like so much. You just got to read it, and it is what it is. But so the spider arrives, the fucking deadlights are underneath it. It hypnotizes Bill, Ben, and Richie, so they're immediately like useless. So the spider picks up Eddie. I guess it just holds him too hard. I guess it kills him. I think it bit him. I don't remember, but
no, it I don't know. It squeezed his ribs, I think.
Okay, yeah.
And then it threw him down. But something I think is stupid. They run up. One of them runs up, gets hypnotized. They don't learn from their mistakes.
No, they all do.
They run up, looking right in. The next one runs up, looks right in. Do you think that they would have learned by now that you don't look at like straight up when you get down there? Like, you know, like, shouldn't they have like, you know?
No, they're stupid. They're all dummies. They go, Bev shoots the thing, misses, shoots his head, it bounces off. She realizes this ain't working for shit. She goes, picks up her rocks again. Then she aims it at the deadlights. Bam, you get the most cheesy exploding effect inside of the lights. Oh my god, is that bad?
The funniest thing is that the spider just crawls back and they just run back and just start kicking it.
Yeah, they kick him. You know, wouldn't that be funny if they start cracking his legs with that thing and eat him like a crab legs or something?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome if they just started cooking his legs like around a fire. Yeah. So they rip his heart out.
Yeah.
He's dead, I guess. I don't know. Then you get a really great narration by Mike.
I guess that's how I'd like to remember us, if I could remember us. Standing there by the lake, the sun going down on our childhood. This will be my last entry. I got it in just time, just before the fog in my brain swept all my memories away entirely. Now, just weeks later, I look back on that time, not from memory, but from the pages of this book. The nightmare is over. What little police involvement there was brief and cursory, as is always the case here in Derry. Now that there is no further need for a lighthouse keeper, well, I feel I may move on, see whatever's down the road apiece. As of this writing, Richie is still knocking him dead. He's got a part in a movie.
574, take 18 mark.
He co-stars with another comic, a guy any of the Lucky Seven could have told you, looks and acts a lot like Eddie Kasprak. Ben and Bev left Derry together, headed west. After a week they were married, a few weeks later they were pregnant. Another curse broken. Bill and Audra are still here. I wish the news were better, but Audra's condition is unchanged. They're leaving today.
Okay, Audra. It's time to go.
Bill thought the time here, the time away from his work, might somehow help. But I guess Audra's gone for good. One of its many casualties. Locked in that haunted place where she saw its dead lights. Bill has been good to visit every day. We laugh about our failing memories. We sometimes have to ask each other's names now. His sadness is profound. I wish there was something I could do. Something I could have done.
as he's writing. What he said in the writing is that when he's writing in his book, is he's saying that all these memories are now fading away completely because now that they killed it, he is no longer in their memories.
Yeah, that's weird.
And it's only in the book now, and that's the only way he could remember anything.
Pretty same idea, dude. Praying out the beers that give you power.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Earlier, whenever they got there, like they're talking about it, and Eddie's like, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. Because as soon as they leave, I mean, as soon as they enter Derry, it's got this giant, like, veil over it where, like, you know, it's trying to, like, hypnotize the parents and everyone in the town to not know what it is.
Right.
So as soon as they walk in, their memory is, like, erased. So it's kind of like, it's like taking over their whole subconscious, like, you know, about that. So that really fits.
Yeah, he even said his brother died and he just doesn't remember, as if it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Georgie dying. Yeah, that's right. They don't remember anything when they leave, but only when it all comes back when they get there. Yeah, it's crazy.
Do you want any drugs?
Yeah, right.
And that's why Mike, like, Bill's like, how didn't you forget? He's like, because I never left. How could I forget?
Right. Wow. Cool. Well, here, let's talk about the spider for a minute. Now, obviously, it's shit. It's a shit ending. So basically, here's the problem. Tommy Lee Wallace explained this. The problem with the spider is that it's inevitable that it's going to fail because there's no longer the feeling of the unknown. Your imagination can't roam. You can't speculate. You can't wonder anymore what it is. Now we have to accept the fact that this is what it is. It's an insane letdown.
I don't think it's
that.
Because
the fact is that the whole movie, you're like, oh my god, this scariest clown has an ultimate form. And his minor form is scarier than his major form.
Yeah.
I mean, but if you think about it, if there's a clown in front of you, but if there's a giant spider, I mean, in real life, if you think about it, if it was a real spider and it didn't look cheesy, though, how scary would that be, though? You know?
Right.
So you just think about it. You think about it, like, in the context, because you look at, like, the bad special effects from, 1990 TV movie.
Yeah.
And you don't think about the fact that, really in real life, what it'd be like to have a giant spider right in front of you, because you're looking at it and you're like, that looks fake.
To me, though, it's all fantasy from there. It's not like it's real anymore. I'm watching a movie.
Yeah, it becomes a movie now.
And that's why it falls apart for me, dude. It falls right apart for me because of that.
Dude, it goes from a psychological thriller to a 1950s sci-fi movie.
Sci-fi movie? Yeah, good one, dude. Exactly, Alex.
But it's funny. This movie's really got everything. It's got killer clowns, it's got werewolves, it's got giant spider movies,
Yeah, right.
Like, it really broadens the whole spectrum of horror. That's one movie. You think about it.
They hit everything, dude.
And there's a mummy, too, by the way.
Yeah, but a lot of people think of it as the clown movie, but this is what you guys just said it. It covers the whole spectrum, but the whole spectrum of this whole movie is based off the fact of that it's supposed to be feared in general.
Right. Well, that's why Stan saw a mummy. For some reason, he's afraid of mummies. And that was probably the worst scene. Stan is a total, such a buffoon.
Oh, he's a fucking Melvin, dude. Yeah.
Dude, he sucks. Like, his scene.
I like the imagery in that scene, though. The mummy slowly stepping down the stairs.
Yeah, but dude, he recites bird. Like, and I love how they say.
Yeah.
And they're like, he's like, Stan just recited every bird he could remember. Meanwhile, he said, literally, if you listen, he said like the name of 3 birds, and then the guy started walking backwards.
Right.
He only remembered 3 birds, so it was just stupid.
Yeah. Obviously, someone isn't very good at organizing things, like you said.
Cataloging them. Not in his brain. So the end is that more nostalgia. Bill rides Audra into fucking traffic on a bike to snap her out of her catatonia. Apparently, she's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Because she realizes he's riding her into traffic. She wakes up, and they start making out in the middle of the highway. Everybody gets out of their car and beats the shit out of them.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. That scene is it's a little bit of a stretch, honestly. Like,
yeah.
I mean, what's he trying to do? Not put her in that state, but really like in a seriously like injured state, like life support state. Like what was he trying to do?
Yeah, right. So the last thing that happens is that after they're making out, the credits hit, and then Pennywise laughs again. Now, it poses the question, guys: what would you want this to turn into a franchise? Would you like to see Pennywise in at least a trilogy, or maybe an entire thing like Freddy or Jason? Like have 5 movies about Pennywise? Like would?
Oh yeah, it could work as a franchise.
I think that would be really. I think that could be really interesting if it was done right. I think that could really, I think it could work because you could explore what else.
More fears, yeah. I'm just glad that this movie is a 2-parter because now I get twice as much, screen time or whatever with Pennywise. I mean, if this was crammed into 90 minutes, and that's the other thing.
No.
Imagine this movie was just 90 minutes and you had to develop this type of relationship. Oh, man.
It wouldn't work.
You wouldn't feel that closeness. You wouldn't feel that nostalgia that they all have for each other. And you could tell these people loved each other on the set of this movie. You could tell there were real bonds here.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
But I thought the acting was so bad throughout all the kids and stuff like that if you watch, like, Dreamcatcher, dude, it's the same kind of situation where it's that Stephen King cheesiness. Don't call it cheesy, like I would, but I'm kind of, you look at it like, oh, that's kind of sweet and whatever, blah, 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 but he does it much better in other movies, and that's why, dude, I'm not ragging on it by any means, but I think it really, in a lot of ways, just because of its existence, has done a lot for Stephen King movies in general, and how people perceive them over the years, and how he's gotten better at that aspect. You know what I mean? And I cite that example, but there are a few where and that's all down to direction. Don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, when the directors come in and choose to shoot these scenes or whatever, but as far as like I said, ensemble cast and stuff like that, he's gotten a lot better, dude. Especially like I said, watch Dreamcatcher. And that's a fucking perfect example because it's sci-fi, it's horror, it's funny in a lot of ways. It's got a great fucking cast in it and it's a cabin in the woods kind of situation at the beginning, and it's great, dude. And that's one of my favorite fucking Stephen King adaptations right there. But if you look at how over the years he's gotten better at it or whatever, it definitely was one of the first go at it. And like I said, he didn't direct it or whatever, but just the way he writes, and I'm talking about his work and how it ends up on the screen. It's not necessarily talking about his work. But.
Right. Yeah, no, definitely. So how do you rate it? Ryan, how do you rate this from 1 to 5?
1 to 5. Oh, gosh. I don't want to be like, I mean, I love it so much, but then there are some things that detract or whatever. I think I'd rate it a 4, honestly. Like
that means you really according to Netflix, you really liked it.
Yeah.
You didn't love it.
Yeah.
You really liked it.
No, listen, I did love it, but then like you know what I mean?
Don't be put words in my mouth, Alex.
Well, then you love it, but you realize it's not a perfect 10. That means that
I love it, but I want to be fair.
Okay, you love it, but you'll give it like a 9 out of 10 then.
I'll give it 4.5 out of 5, yeah.
Okay. Right.
I'll give it a 10. A fucking 10.
Dan, what do you give this from, do Netflix, then you could do technical. So Netflix, liked it, really liked it, loved it. What do you give it 1 out of 5?
I definitely give it a 3.
You liked it, okay.
I like this movie.
What do you give it technically?
Technically speaking, I mean, oh fuck, dude. Maybe a 5 or 6.
6 out of 10?
Yeah, I mean, actually, no, fuck that. A 5 for sure.
5?
Because I can't take away from the cheesiness, but that has nothing to do with the flick in a lot of aspects because it just has to do with the time and.
Yeah. All right. Well,
how about you?
How about you, Alex?
Netflix 1 out of 5, and those numbers meaning the words that they mean. I give it a 5 out of 5. I love it. I've loved this movie for.
Yeah, you have. Dude.
I've loved it for 16 years. I started.
I mean, like we talked about. Though I watched it the other night, and that is the same exact VHS tape that I watched it on when I was 5.
Oh, dude,
isn't that awesome?
Like the same exact one. Like I never bought the DVD or whatever. Like that's the same. That's how I've always watched the movie, and it's like it's so worn out. Like, it's got little white lines all through it and stuff. You know, that's what, like I said, nostalgic. That's, you know, that movie for me.
Oh, yeah, it still plays, yeah. He watched it that way, yeah.
Oh, you did it.
That's how I watched it.
You said that. Oh, my bad, dude. Yo, that's awesome, man. Yo, you should fucking...
I know, I love it.
I would totally have viewing parties if I could fucking... I have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.
Oh, please. That's horrible.
I told Alex this. I have a VHS of Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. That was my mom when she was a teenager in the 80s.
Wow, man.
Yes, dude.
Because she loved that movie, so she found it somewhere and gave it to me because she knew that I loved them.
Jesus.
So it's like awesome, you know?
Mine was 4. That was one of my first VHSs.
Yeah, that's what Dan said on the commentary. For technical ratings, I mean, am I forgiving budget or no?
Whatever, do whatever the fuck you want.
Let's forgive the budget. It is what it is. I mean, they did an amazing effort. I think all the actors really loved what they were doing. I could tell.
Yep.
They did all they could do with what they could do, I feel. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Because some of the bad acting, because some of the dropped effects that could have been better, I'll give it a 7.58, something like that.
Really?
Yeah, that's how I feel like technically.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Two things that I want to mention that I forgot to. There's a scene, one of my favorite scenes in the movie, because I just think it's kind of like the bad acting thing. I love it so much. When Ben is writing the, you know, Winter Fire or whatever, his cousin walks in. Oh, what you doing? And he's like, nothing. It's just for school. And he snatches the poem and goes, ooh, a poem. And he goes, hey, Mom, look, Benny's in love.
Check it out, Benny's in love.
And then Benny proceeds to beat the shit out of this.
Yeah, she's like, you ruffian.
Wailing it.
That's all bad acting. That's definitely, I see what Dan's saying. I guess if you look at it that way, but I think if you grew up with this and nostalgic-wise, man, it's amazing. That shit puts blinders on your eyes because...
That's how it's supposed to be. Like, I can't imagine that scene any other way, you know?
Right, that's just how it is. I just...
Like, ooh, a poem.
It's just bad. I just think it's weird people. I don't think of it as bad acting. I just think it's like weird people.
Yeah.
Like,
that's true.
Like Sleepaway Camp in the beginning with that lady and shit like that, though.
Yeah, that's just bad acting.
Well, that was weird, though. That was meant to be weird, so...
Right. All right, well, that was it. We hope you enjoyed it.